want to share an idea with you that may fly in the face of everything you've thought about up to date about self-growth, personal development, and improvement in your own life. Play with this idea for a moment, because this isn't going to be advice. This is not going to be a how-to or any tactics. This is simply going to be a way for you to free think and to be a bit open-minded and to question your own philosophies in life, the way you look at the world and what your truth actually is. I think that there is a tendency in the Western idea of the way we live and society, a very romanticized idea that's quite new to our society about this concept of changing. That we must be constantly striving to change, constantly seeking to improve our situation and constantly aiming for a higher station in life. But I think it's also quite elusive. Let's take, for example, the idea that people should be more positive than negative. So you'll often hear people running around saying, he's a very positive person, or you'll hear people say, you need to remove the negative people from your life. Well, the truth is there is no such thing as a negative person, and there is no such thing as a positive person. We are both. Think of the yin-yang symbol, the circle with the two swirls in the center going around each other. One's black, one's white. Now, this circle is representative of the two sides of life. We could look at it as positive or negative in our eyes and the way Western society functions, or we could look at it as black and white, which are two opposite ends of the spectrum. We could also look at it as male or female. Whatever way you look at it, I mean, that's your perception that guides that, but the confusion lies in the fact that people aim to be one of those sides, not really understanding what the symbol represents. And my basic understanding of it is that they're actually two fish swimming around each other. And they're swimming around each other, and one cannot swim around the other without the other swimming around it. There's also two circles within each color, so the black side has a white circle and the white side has a black circle. Therefore, the understanding is that you cannot have one without the other. They are two sides of the same equation. And to think that you can have one side without the other is absolutely futile. What does this really mean to us on a tangible level? It really means that you should not try to change one side of your personality. You shouldn't try to improve it. All we can really do is understand it, that we need both to function. Life requires both. You can't just be one or the other. And I think the chasing and the pursuit of constantly trying to change and to improve is what causes so much tension, stress, overwhelm, anxiety, and frustration within people, especially when the comparison game comes out. So if we're comparing ourselves to somebody else, there becomes this inner tension built up, because it's like, well, I need to change to be more like that person, and I need to do certain things, and I'm going to want to create those habits. Now, here's the thing. Change is funny, because in what context are we talking about change? You know, you could change your hair color tomorrow and make it blue if you wanted to. That's no problem. You could change your clothes. You could change your shoes. You could change the way that you drive to work. But if we take it to a deeper level, what does change really mean? If we're thinking of our habits, our behaviors, the patterns we operate with, we can make changes there. But does that really change who we are? I mean, fundamentally, do you really feel any different to when you were a teenager? Do you really feel any different to when you're in your 20s, say if you're in your 30s? Or what if you're in your 60s? I know I've asked people before who are in their 60s, do you feel any different to when you're in your 20s? Most of the time they say, actually all of the time they say, no, I don't. Often they'll just make a remark about their body saying, my knees hurt more and I ache a bit more, but I actually don't feel much different. I find that absolutely fascinating. And it sort of blows my mind because in their world of physical things, their results reflect that they've changed. They've got more money where they had no money when they were younger. They've got relationships they didn't have. And maybe they do have better habits. Maybe they get up earlier now instead of staying out all night drinking. So there are those external changes that are, I suppose, representative of internal behavioral changes, but they still feel the same. And I think that core, that inner, deep spiritual DNA core of us, fundamentally, we don't really change. I think we can transform. I think we can make wild improvements in certain areas of our life, but I think the core of us, I don't think we can change, because that inherent negative positive attribute, the fish swimming around each other, the yin-yang symbol is a graphic illustration of this, is always at play and it's always in there. But I think we can make improvements in the behaviors and habits and attitudes of mind. And I know I've done that in my own life. I am much happier now than I was many years ago. And I've definitely made some terrible decisions in my life that I don't regret, because I've learned from them, because I understand this principle. But I wouldn't make them again. And if I do make them again, I understand that that's because I think the core of me is always there, perpetually pushing me forward, testing new grounds and trying new ways. That's how I'm wired. Some people are not wired like that at all. And so I think that you and I can both relax in the fact that we are good the way we are. That if we're broken, well, maybe we're not broken. Maybe we just feel broken because we're always trying to constantly change and improve things. And realizing that that state, that perfection, is something we may be seeking, but we can never attain it. It does not exist. So go on, keep going, keep pressing forward by all means, but relax in the fact that you are actually good the way you are, that you need all sides of your personality to function. And if there's one that's not serving you, understand it's not going to disappear, because that is the opposite side of the good that is also within you.